are just talking, meaning they got none. None of them come proper, they talk like a shotgun. But how many got bred with integrity? Not one. So no, I'm not afraid to see you suckers hold a blade to me. Ain't no way to check you out of broken door you gave to me. Take it how you take it, I'm the opposite of vacancy. This is not negotiation, y'all can hate, wait and see. In the wastelands of today, where there's nothing left to lose, and there's nothing more to take, but you force yourself to choose. In the wastelands of today, where tomorrow disappears, and the future slips away, and your road turns into fear, and your road turns into fear. In the wastelands of today. Where there's nothing left to lose, and there's nothing more to take, but you force yourself to choose. In the wastelands of today, where tomorrow disappears, and the future slips away, and your road turns into fear, and your road turns into fear. In the wastelands of today. In the wastelands of today. In the wastelands of today.
Thank you.
I'm Jenn Marino, and you are listening to the iHeartRadio album release party for Linkin Park's The Hunting Party. I think that gave us a little bit of a taste of how hard that album is.
Every time we do an album release party and they say album release party and hunting party, I feel like there's a better way to say it.
Okay, so I'm going to need you. Okay,
album,
so
hunting release party. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Too many parties.
rewrite the
Actually,
disco.
there's not enough
Zero at
parties.
the
There's not enough party.
There's not enough fucking parties. How about that?
I think there's more party. I mean, like album party, release party, the hunting party, today party.
I like it. I'm going to have to write that down, though. It's going to take me some
Was
getting
I not
used to.
supposed to curse?
I don't know.
Just
We're
now?
on the radio. Can
Are
you
we?
curse? Can you curse?
I hope they bleeped
Can't
it
curse
out.
on the radio. So, do you guys, like,
The
look
guys,
around?
so people from Warner Brothers Records are here. You could send the bill to them. I'm sure they'll be fine with
Hello?
that. They're cool with that.
You guys look around, listen around, walk around, noticing anybody coming up that could possibly carry the torch on after you, with you, next to you?
Well,
What do you guys think?
well,
That was a total. That was like a.
No,
that was like
I
a.
mean, here's
you
what
set
I-
us up for that one.
here's what I want to do. I want our music to inspire the next band that's going to do something crazy, that's going to take all of us by surprise, that's going to like ignite a whole group of people that would never have imagined going and hanging out in the same place or being in the same things to get together. You know, that's what we want to do with this record. We want to make an album that's going to inspire people to go want to be in a band and make music and do something fun that has energy. You know, that's what we want to do with this one.
Have you ever heard a story from somebody that's walked up to you and said, you've inspired me to...
Yeah, actually, that's funny you say. Well, first of all, that's one of the things that inspired this album. The Hunting Party was about kind of getting back to the things that made us want to play music in the first place. This kind of music is the kind of music that made me a music fan. When I was a kid, I was learning to play piano, and at a certain point, I was like getting bored with that, and I didn't ever take like making music that seriously until I started to hear like groups like on the rap side from like NWA and Two Live Crew to like bands like Nine Inch Nails and eventually bands like Refused and At the Drive-In and Helmet and these heavier bands, things that were edgy and made my parents wouldn't let me listen to.
Right.
And that's what we kind of got back to. But there was actually, speaking of what you said, are there bands that like kind of grew up on our music? Recently, we actually got a chance to hear from a couple of guys from different bands. One of them in particular we played with recently called Bring Me the Horizon. And those guys, the kid Ollie, the singer from that band, his first concert ever was one of our first shows in the UK. And he was there. You can see him. There's a picture in a magazine of Chester against the front barricade. And Ollie is like 4 people back, like with his, you can see him.
That's so awesome.
It's great. And now he's on the main stage of like one of the biggest festivals rock festivals in the world.
Right.
So, such a cool thing.
Have you Have you ever taken a step back and really sat down and thought, this person, this band, this group really did inspire me? Because I know that question gets asked a lot, and people are just like, I love Elton John, I love, whatever. But has there been anybody that's really made you?
Absolutely.
Actually helped you develop who you are as an artist?
There's so many artists, so many bands that for me in particular, I was admired for their talent. Jane's Addiction, huge influence on me. I mean, the second I heard Ritual de la Habitual was the first record I heard of theirs, so I kind of was late to the game, but I was really young, When I heard it, I was just like, I didn't even know music could sound like that,
How young were you?
I was probably a freshman in high school.
Oh, okay.
So, I was pretty young.
So you recognized it, though?
I knew right away the second I heard Jane Says, I was like, this is the greatest song of our time, Radiohead is a band that I love. They've always been a great band. I liked bands like Nights of Reb and Front 242 and Skinny Puppy and Exploited, The Misfits, NWA. These were all Public Enemy. These were all groups that I felt like not only did they do things that were Rage Against the Machine, these were all bands that were doing things that were like, holy shit. Like,
if you ask that question, that's going to happen. That's going to happen.
But I mean, that's like, it's all that stuff is so good, and that was what made me want to be in a band, and that's something that doesn't happen all the time. Like, there's a lot of really great bands out there who write a lot of great songs, but there aren't that many bands that like become the soundtrack to your life,
right?
And those are always the bands that influence you the most.
Would you say that they still play a part in your musical taste in your life?
For sure, yeah.
I mean, you still keep up with them.
How they could we even got a chance on this album. We even got a chance to work with some of these people that we grew up listening to. As you guys know, like the first song we released off of The Hunting Party was called Guilty All the Same, and we got a chance to work with Rakim, who I grew up I mean, this guy he is one of the greatest of all time, and you can hear it in the song. Like, even when I try, like when we play that song, he can't travel with us. I do his verse when we play it. Mm-hmm. And even learning it was like hard to do the verse because he's technically so skilled. Like, it's a weird thing to say, but most people, like, if I can sing along, rap along to a song, and most songs I don't have any problem with. It's like, he's as easy as talking. But then there's something like this where it's clearly he does something different, and it's really special. And so, yeah, like that actually, I'm looking at our set list here. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to say about this next song we're going to get into.
Are you doing Numb next?
So that was Numb was a chance for us when we got to work with Jay-Z, and that's another example where Jay is somebody that like I grew up listening to, and getting to work with him was really exceptional as well.
I bet. I'm Jenn Marino, and you're listening to the iHeartRadio album release party for Linkin Park's The Hunting Party. It's available now, online or in stores, and I think the songs on this album will take their place next to the other great Linkin Park songs, just like this one. Here's Numb.